The quaint suburban homes and manicured lawns of peaceful Pinewood masked a horrifying secret. Behind the facade of normalcy lurked David and Catherine Burney, a seemingly ordinary couple leading an extraordinary life of depravity. Their crimes, a horrifying blend of sadism and cruelty, sent chills down the spines of seasoned detectives. The Burneys, as they became known, were not mere killers. They were puppeteers of pain, orchestrating elaborate scenarios of torture and death. Their victims, carefully chosen strangers, became pawns in their twisted games. Each act, meticulously planned and executed, revealed a depth of depravity that defied comprehension. The community, once a haven of tranquility, transformed into a breeding ground for fear. Whispers of the Burneys' atrocities replaced friendly greetings, and suspicion clouded every interaction. The investigation into the Burneys' crimes unveiled a horrifying tapestry woven with threads of manipulation, violence, and an insatiable thirst for power. Their methods, as meticulous as they were macabre, pointed towards a shared psychosis, a chilling symbiosis that amplified their darkest desires. The case, a ghastly puzzle box of depravity, challenged the very foundations of human understanding. As the authorities peeled back the layers of the Burneys' wicked charade, they uncovered a truth more sinister than anyone could have imagined. The couple, bound by a shared darkness, found pleasure in the infliction of pain. Their crimes, far from random acts of violence, were testaments to a chilling truth. Beneath the veneer of normalcy lay a heart of pure evil. To understand the monsters, one must delve into the shadows of their past. David Burney's childhood was a bleak landscape of neglect and abuse. His father, a volatile alcoholic, ruled their household with an iron fist, while his mother, emotionally absent, offered no solace. Young David, starved for affection and attention, retreated into a world of violent fantasies, finding solace in the pages of crime novels and graphic horror films. Catherine, too, bore the scars of a fractured childhood. Abandoned by her mother at a tender age, she was left to navigate the labyrinthine world of foster care. Shunted from one uncaring home to another, she learned to trust no one, her heart hardening with each rejection. Catherine, deprived of love and stability, developed a manipulative streak, using her charm to exploit others for her own gain. These early experiences, etched deep within their psyches, laid the foundation for their future atrocities. The absence of love, the constant fear, and the bitter sting of rejection twisted their perception of the world, nurturing a deep-seated resentment towards humanity. Their childhood homes, far from being sanctuaries, became breeding grounds for their burgeoning darkness. The seeds of evil, sown in the fertile ground of trauma and neglect, found purchase in their wounded psyches. Their shared experiences, though different in their specifics, created a macabre kinship, a shared understanding of the world's capacity for cruelty. It was in this shared darkness that their bond solidified, setting the stage for the horrors they would unleash upon the world. The Burneys' descent into utter depravity was not a sudden plunge, but a gradual slide into the abyss. Their early crimes, though disturbing, paled in comparison to the horrors they would eventually inflict. They started with petty thefts, graduating to vandalism and arson, each act fueled by a growing sense of power and control. Their crimes, initially fueled by a need for excitement and a desire to lash out against a world they perceived as unjust, soon took on a more sinister tone. Animals became their preferred targets, their suffering a source of perverse amusement for the couple. The line between right and wrong, once a clear demarcation, blurred into insignificance as they reveled in their newfound power. Their crimes escalated in both frequency and brutality. The thrill of their early transgressions waned, replaced by a need for greater stimulation, a deeper intoxication with the power they wielded over their victims. The couple, their bond strengthened by their shared darkness, began to fantasize about escalating their reign of terror, their thoughts turning towards the ultimate prey human life. The transition from animal cruelty to human victims was, for the Burneys, a natural progression of their twisted desires. Their empathy, already eroded by their own traumatic pasts, had been extinguished completely. In their minds, their victims, stripped of their humanity, were mere playthings, objects upon which to unleash their sadistic fantasies. The Burneys' victims were not random targets. They were carefully chosen to fulfill specific roles in their twisted fantasies. Their first victim, A young woman named Sarah Miller bore a striking resemblance to Catherine, a detail that would become a chilling hallmark of their later crimes. Sarah, lured to their home under false pretenses, became the subject of their inaugural foray into human suffering. Jonathan Hayes, a drifter passing through Pinewood, became their next victim. Jonathan, struggling with addiction and homelessness, was seen as an easy target, someone who wouldn't be missed. His disappearance, initially dismissed as another transient soul moving on, raised no alarm bells, emboldening the Bernies' belief in their own invincibility. As their body count grew, so too did the depravity of their crimes. Each victim, carefully selected and meticulously manipulated, endured unimaginable horrors before being disposed of like garbage. The Bernies documented their crimes in meticulous detail, their journals becoming testaments to their descent into utter madness. The stories of their victims, pieced together from fragmented evidence and the Bernies' own chilling confessions, painted a horrifying picture of their reign of terror. These were not mere statistics, but individuals with lives, loves, and dreams, all extinguished to satiate the insatiable appetites of two deeply disturbed individuals. Each life taken served as a grim reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives. The relationship between David and Catherine Burney was a chilling example of folie à deux, a shared psychosis that fueled their murderous spree. David, the outwardly charismatic leader, possessed a volatile temper and a deep-seated need for control. Catherine, cunning and manipulative, excelled at feeding his ego, encouraging his darkest impulses. Their bond, forged in the crucible of their shared trauma, went beyond mere love or lust. It was a symbiotic relationship where each fed off the other's darkness. David, fueled by Catherine's unwavering admiration, became bolder in his cruelty, while Catherine, empowered by David's violence, reveled in her role as the architect of their shared fantasies. Their crimes, far from being the actions of two individuals, were the product of a single, twisted entity. They operated with a chilling synchronicity, their thoughts and desires so intertwined that it became impossible to separate one from the other. Their shared psychosis, a terrifying manifestation of their combined darkness, became the driving force behind their reign of terror. The Bernies' case presented a chilling paradox. Two individuals, each deeply disturbed in their own right, became exponentially more dangerous when united. Their shared psychosis, a toxic cocktail of their individual pathologies, amplified their worst impulses, transforming them into a force of unimaginable evil.